guys, it is the Poke King and we're back with another banger. Today we're looking at the deck that's taking, honestly, Pokemon by storm. This is the Joltik Toolbox deck, and it's playing this little Joltik to help charge up these big EX Pokemon. Now, Little Dark Fury, Sneaker Talk, they have been on this deck, so I decided, you know what, let me kind of make my rendition of the deck, tweak it a little bit, make it a little bit more consistent, because, you know, that's what I like to do on the channel. So let's take a look, let's not talk too much, and let's see pretty much how Joltik is taking Pokemon by storm. So starting off, we're going to be playing 2 of the 30 HP Jolting Charge Joltiks. Now, if you don't know what this card does, let's take a look at it. For 1 colorless energy, it's called Jolting Charge. You may search your deck for up to 2 basic grass energies and up to 2 basic lightning energies, and you attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. And then of course you shuffled. So this card allows you to charge up a lot of the big EXs, and the main one is Iron Hands EX. When you're playing up against slower decks like Dragapult EX, Gardevoir EX, Iron Hands EX can allow you to pretty much take over the game. And that was also true last format, especially with Miraidon. That's how it was able to keep up with Dragapult, Gardevoir, is that they would just take 2 prizes very early. Even if they set up a Dragapult EX, which last format was faster, this format's slower. Even if they were in the faster format, it would have set up a Dragapult EX, it didn't knock out Iron Hands. And then you would utilize things like Prime Catcher, Boss's Order, to then take another 2 prize. And at that point, you're just too far behind. So we're utilizing Joltik to charge up the energies. Now, I hate to always do this, but I do not have the regular Galvantula, which you should play, and I'll put it on the screen right here. The Galvantula that you should play is the Grass Galvantula, which pretty much allows you to take knockouts on like Zoroark EX, Charizard EX, and that card is absolutely busted. But you can also play this Galvantula EX because, once again, Charged Web is such a good attack. No, we don't play any fighting energies, but for 2 energies, which is nice to have a Pokemon in the deck that attacks for just only 2 energies, Charged Web does 110 damage, and then it does an extra 110 more damage if it's an EX or V Pokemon. Of course, we're using it for the EX with that 110 damage plus the 110 damage. This also will take knockouts on big colorless Pokemon that are weak, for example, to lightning, for example, like Pidgeot EX. And this also allows you to take out even random rogue decks like Blastoise EX, Wellspring Ogerpon, which is naturally does the 220 to knock it out. So Galvantula EX, super versatile, so you can play this, or once again you could play the grass one, but I think you should absolutely play the grass one and then see if you can make the EX work within the deck. So next up, we're going to be playing 2 Miraidon EX. Now, if you naturally draw into this card, this helps you to kind of get out your Pokemon that you need and to kind of get out of the Badoo lock, because of course you can't Nest Ball or Ultra Ball for it. So we played Miraidon EX because a lot of the Pokemon we're attacking with, Pikachu, Iron Hands, even Joltik, and Miraidon itself are electric Pokemon, so we're going to use Tandem Unit to pretty much fill up the bench. So this also helps with like Lillie's Clefairy, because you can then get out, for example, other Pokemon to fill up the bench to then once again attack for more damage. Now, the start of the show, of course, is going to be Iron Hands EX. Arm Press once again can take knockouts on any of the electric Pokemon. Pokemon weak to electric, but we're going to be using Ampu very much for 120. And the best part is that because, once again, previous formats we had to use like a double turbo potentially, and we were only doing 100 damage, we can take full advantage of that 120, so knock out certain fighting Pokemons, even things like Sandy Shock. So Iron Hands EX allows you to get that 2 prizer for just a 1 prizer, which is nice. 1 Pikachu EX. Now, of course, you could play 2, but right now I'm just trying to try out the 1. I think it's just more of a tech tacker, being able to knock out Pokemon and do that big 300 damage. I am trying out the Wellspring Ogerpon EX. I do also want to try and go with another way to take 2 prizes. And once again, even for example, with it comes to certain Pokemon, I think it's versatile to have something like the Wellspring, because then it can also hit on the bench. So for example, if you feel like Iron Hands isn't the one you want to attack with, but you also want to knock them off, for example, like a Cloak or a Dreepy, or even like a Duskull, I think it's super cool to play the Wellspring Ogerpon. We're playing 1 Lillie's Clefairy EX. Also, Wellspring brings the energies back to the deck, so I do like that. So 1 Lillie's Clefairy EX, that's for Dragapult, of course, and then it's just a great attacker. We play 1 Bloodmoon Ursaluna because you can actually charge to this and attack early on, so this helps you to tear up pretty much Raging Bolt, that, and Lillie's Clefairy. We play one Mew EX because you can also copy things like Dragapult attack, Charizard attack, so it's very versatile with Mew EX. One Latias, which theoretically, we do play 2 Psychics, so if you were in a pinch, you could attack with Eon Blade, but Latias is just there for the free retreat, which is really nice. And then, of course, big basic, so we're playing the Fezandipiti EX, and I actually like that. Maybe this will be the Joltik big basic deck because that's pretty much all that it's playing. So Fezandipiti rounds off the Pokemon, and that's all the Pokemon we play. Next up, we're going to be playing 4 Arven. Now, this is, of course, going to get us the Ultra Ball, the Nest Ball, even a Pokégear or something like that, or even an Earthen Vessel to get energies to the hand. And then there's a lot of really nice tools that we play in this deck. So Arven is really nice to help set everything up. And then the Big Daddy Crispin is the card that allows us to, you know, once again, charge up an Iron Hands EX after we use Joltik for going first or even second. So Crispin is super important right there. Once again, being able to just excel more energies. Now, some decks are playing 4 bosses. I went down to 3. I just wanted a little bit more consistency. I was even thinking about cutting one of the bosses, so keeping it at 3, but cutting the 4th one to add a Morty's Conviction. But I ended up adding like a Night Stretcher. But I even think something like a Morty's Conviction could be really nice just to give you a little bit of draw engine in this deck. One Iono, of course, Iono is Iono, so just really good. And then you're going to see everything is just pretty consistent overall. We have 4 Ultra Ball. Once again, searches out everything in the deck. And then we have 4 Nest Ball, which once again searches out everything in the deck from a Pokemon standpoint, except for whether it be Galvantula EX or the regular Galvantula, the single prizer. For consistency, we have to run 4 Pokégear. You just need to see the certain supporter when you need to see them. So for example, in the beginning of the game, you need to see the Arven or the Crispin. Late game, mid game, you want to see your boss's order or even Iono. So 4 Pokégear, super important. We're playing the 1 Earthen Vessel, so we can at least get the attachment for the turn. 1 Night Stretcher. Now I'm debating between Night Stretcher and like a Super Rod, but because we're playing the Wellspring and the fact that when that gets knocked out after we've used the attack, all of the energies were just shuffled back into the deck. So I'm thinking about a Night Stretcher, but once again, you can switch in between that and like a Super Rod. This is our 4th Gusting card. We play the Prime Catcher. Once again, really important to be able to take nice knockouts. And then for the tools, we have the Rescue Board, being able to switch in between out of Joltik without having to discard an energy. EXP shares to keep looping attackers once one is knocked out. Powerglass, just a real cool nutty card, especially if you had to like Earthen Vessel and energy or Ultra Ball, then Powerglass can help you get advantage if you don't see the Joltik. And then we play 1 Bravery Charm, just make it harder to knock out certain Pokemon. And then the energy is pretty cool. So we have 5 lightning, 5 grass, 2 metal energies, 2 psychic energies, and then we play the 1 water for the Wellspring. All right, guys, so that was the Joltik big basic deck. Let me know in the comment section down below what attacker we should add. Now, of course, some people are playing like the Iron Leaves EX, which you can. So let me know in the comment section down below what you may tweak and add to the deck. Let me know if you're trying it out on PTCG Live. I'll have the deck list in the description box down below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, become part of the Poke Kingdom. It's been your king. Peace.